and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome all of you here to the International Conference for the United Nations proposal of the DPCW. Let's give a round of applause for all of our guests and all of our volunteers that are here. My name is David Michael Williamson, and I will be your MC for today's conference. And I'd like to tell you a little bit more about our purpose. The purpose of today's conference is to show really the effort that is being made for peace. And it's designed to expand upon our national level of support for implementing the DPCW into the United Nations as an international law. And I'd like to invite our former and current presidents, as well as the really most influential international and law experts from all around the world, to come together and to contribute their opinions and their ideas on how all of us can work together in order to implement this DPCW as law. And to begin our program, I'd first like to take a minute to introduce the guests that we have here. And so I'll begin to name them as I follow to name them. If you could welcome them with a round of applause. First, we have the Honorable Emil Constantinescu, the former President of Romania. His Excellency Victor Yushchenko, the former President of Ukraine. His Excellency Petru Lusinski, the former President of Moldova. His Excellency Stanislav Cessation, the former Chairman of the Supreme Court of the Republic of Belarus. His Excellency Stephen Mesic, the former President of Croatia. His Excellency Ivo Josipovic, the former President of Croatia. His Excellency Dr. Rosalia Arteaga Serrano, the former President of Ecuador. His Excellency Donald Ramator, the former President of Guyana. His Excellency Paul Schmidt, the former President of Hungary. His Excellency Dr. Mansef Marzouki, the former President of Tunisia. His Excellency Lakoba Tei Iteli, the Governor General of Tuvalu. His Excellency Gennady Bubulis, the former State Secretary of Russia and the current President of the Baltic Black Sea Forum. The Right Honorable Hrant Bagration, the former Prime Minister of Armenia. His Excellency Zalto Lagumdija, the former Prime Minister of Bosnia and Herzegovina. His Excellency Kil Raj Rejmi, the former Prime Minister of Nepal. His Excellency Zumart Odabiv, the former Prime Minister of the Kyrgyzstan Republic. And His Excellency Samuel Sam Sumana, the former Vice President of the Republic of Sierra Leone. Let's give them all a round of applause. Now, there are many leaders here that due to time we're not able to really mention their names. But regardless of not being able to announce each and every person joining us by name, we still would like to extend our great gratitude for you coming to this summit and coming to this conference and participating in this work of peace. Among those that we have mentioned, there are 9 ministers from 9 different countries, 3 chief justices from 3 different countries, and 8 ministers from various ministries around the world. For example, the Ministry of Justice. And as most of us here know, peace is not something that can be achieved just because one nation desires it, or really even if just 2 desire it. But many countries need to come together and not only desire it, but give their support and work together to establish something like the DPCW. And because of this urgent need, the topic of our next speech will be regarding this, with the theme of expanding DPCW support at the national level. And so let's please welcome up the former Vice President of Sierra Leone to give this presentation. Let's welcome up Vice President Samuel Sumana.
Your Excellencies, Ministers of Government, religious leaders, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. After 2 very violent world wars that subjected millions of innocent people across the globe to unspeakable suffering and gruesome deaths, people from different faiths, backgrounds, and cultures came together with the aim of saving humanity from the scourges of another world war. leading to the establishment of the United Nations in 1945. A family of nations determined to promote global unity, stability, security, and peace. However, since its establishment, the world has witnessed horrendous conflicts and even genocide in countries such as Rwanda, Cambodia, and former Yugoslavia. With the end of the Cold War in the late 1980s, the nature of armed conflicts largely changed from intra to interstate conflicts, in which women and children are used as weapons of war and in other capacities such as sex slaves and bushwives. As we speak, millions of women and children are subjected to most abysmal conditions, left with no hope and are conditioned to abandon their families and homes to seek safety in faraway places. Coupled with this, almost half of the world's population are victims of inequality and social injustices, which affects their relationship with the state and has implications of global peace and security. Millions of people have never known love, joy, or hope. In the midst of these despicable circumstances, nation-states continue to invest in the development of sophisticated weapons rather than in health, education, lifting the poor out of poverty, and sustainable development. Speaking out against inequality and social injustices, during his Rivonia trial on the 20th April 1964, Nelson Mandela stated, "I have cherished the ideals of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and in equal opportunities. It is an ideal which I hope to live and achieve, but if needs be, it's an ideal for which I am prepared to die," unquote. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the declaration of peace and cessation of war could not have come at a better time than this. Let me take this opportunity to thank Chairman Manning Lee for the brilliant, timely, and history-making initiative. The world will always remain grateful. I thank you, sir. Your Excellencies, for this declaration to leave its footprints on the sands of time, make a positive difference in the lives of ordinary people, take hope where there is despair, promote love where there is hate. It has to be owned and led by national, local actors in every country across the world. A bottom-up approach has to be employed to get states and their citizens buy into, own, and lead the process. To ensure this, a set of people committed to global peace and security have to be mobilized to constructively engage member states in ensuring that this declaration is adopted by the United Nations. However, the essence of this declaration should not be limited to its adoption by the UN, but rather to help transform mindsets and change the conversations and narratives around global peace and security. Countries adopting the declaration have the moral responsibility to engage its citizens and global actors on the inextricable links between global peace and security and the respect for human rights, the rule of law, and human dignity. The Secretariat of the DPCW should also establish platforms through which dialogue, synergy, and harmonization of effort will be promoted at the intergovernmental, national, and local levels. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in concluding, let me remind each and every one of us gathered here today of UNESCO's mantra, I quote, Since wars begin in the minds of men, it is in the minds of men that the defense of peace must be constructed, unquote. We are faced with a moral call that we should stand up to. It is our responsibility to make this world a better, safer, and much peaceful place for the sake of our generation and the next generation. We should not allow our miseries to caress us. Let us learn to caress our miseries, and we will be in control. Therefore, we should not fail in this drive. We have to succeed, and we must succeed. I therefore call on all global political and religious leaders across the world to do their utmost to ensure the adoption of the 10 articles and the 38 clauses of the Declaration at the United Nations. May God grant us the global peace, security, and harmony we pray and work towards achieving. I thank you all.
Thank you very much, Vice President, for presenting even more ways to expand our national support for implementing the DPCW. Let's give him one more round of applause for the words that he shared.